Now we're gonna talk about Tajikistan, and one of those countries with probably some border issues, because clearly I don't have that red line, so I can actually see where the country ends and where it begins. So that's gonna be a tough one. As a neighbors, they have, from what I can see here, Afghanistan. They have Turkmenistan. No, Turkmenistan is not Saudi. They have Afghanistan, Uzbekistan. See what fucked up it is when you don't have the actually border. You have China and Kyrgyzstan. India, I don't think it is, or Pakistan, sorry. Pakistan, I don't think they have a border with them, but yeah. So yeah, this is the border. Now the population, 10 million, over 10 million people, which is huge and still rising, and that's gonna be a problem. We're gonna see pretty soon why. The yearly change is pretty much over the place, so I'm not sure exactly if this line doesn't suddenly start to go again up. So yeah, that's gonna be a interesting to see. Now in 1955, only 1.8 million people, now 10.7, so a huge increase. Back then it was a 3.5% increase, now it's 1.85%. Back then it was around 56,000 net increase in people population. Now it's almost 200,000, which is huge. Migrants back then was a 4,000, now it's minus 21,000. Clearly things are not going well for them. Look at this, median age back then 21 years old, now 22 years old, so pretty much nothing changed. Again, one of those nonsense, 5.86, even 7 at some point, almost 7 fertility rate. Now it's 3, a bit more manageable, but still a huge one. And the urban population back then 31%, now 27%. So you can see a decrease in urban population. That's pretty much strange things to do, but it is what it is. And in 2050 they're gonna increase like 15 million people, which is huge, and still going up more than 1%, 1.17%. That will be 175,000 people. Migration still on the minus 20,000 people around that. Median age is going to go up a bit, 28 years old, and fertility rate going down, 2.35, still well above replacement rate, but still a huge one, I would say. Too much in my opinion. Urban population 40%, so now they're going up again. Life expectancy pretty high, I would say, so 72 years old for both sexes, 75 for females, 70 for males. Pretty huge, I would say. Infant mortality rate 20.4, and death under age of 5 25.2. That shows the medical system is pretty much non-existent. The pyramid from demographic, you can see a very solid base with a surplus in male population, especially the young one. So yeah, good luck with finding something there. Otherwise, yeah, population not that interesting, because it's a building here right now. The economics pretty fucked up. 13 billion nominal, which is nothing, and PPP around 553 billion. GDP per capita, look at this, nominal $1,180 per year per person. That's insanely low, and that would translate in roughly $5,361,000. They export a lot in Switzerland, 25% from their export is a huge one. It's in Switzerland. I have no idea what they're exporting there. I'm not that interested, because this is such a small country with such a small economy and a population that's going up. I never understand those countries, seriously. You live in a pretty decent area, I would say, geographically, but fucked up from economic perspective. You have a huge population, 10 million people, and you start with 1.8 in 1955, and you project that you're still going up at 15 million, so you can increase by 50%, even more in the next 25 years. The economy is pretty much absolutely a disaster, nothing to live off there. And corruption, you can see here, corruption, one of those countries. Where is this? Where is the Tajikistan? 17, which is pretty much anyone is corrupted. Just from 100 people, I would say that 17 are pretty straight. The rest of them is pretty fucked up. Yeah, it's just no way you can do well in this country. Yeah, history doesn't even matter for them. It's just one of those ex-Soviet countries, and most of their entire history just in that region was it somehow influenced by Russia. Well, good luck with that. Now we're gonna look at how those people live. Thankfully, we have a bit more 360s and street views than we saw last time, but clearly they don't work for some reason. Oh no, it's working, but I don't know why nah, it's not working. Let's see what we have. Keep in mind, one of those extreme poverty here with a huge population, huge one. So far doesn't look that bad, I would say. It's pretty clean here. I don't see garbage or anything, so kudos for that. That's something. Oh, look at this, a lot of those here. I have no idea. But again, those people with $1,000, I mean, like $1,000 per year, it's just as how much they can make. I don't know if those data are really actually real. Those communist building, I hate it. Probably it's gonna be like that comment in one video that I make. A lot of those people just living in Russia or working in Russia or outside the country, and they make money there and just came back here to pretty much spend it. Otherwise, you cannot have anything what you see here, anything here with that 1,000 per capita. There is no way you can build anything with that kind of money. So yeah, again, population is still going up. A huge nonsense to me. I don't understand why people are choose to multiply themselves, which is pretty much they have nothing. But hey, maybe that's just me. Probably the most popular, a lot of population is going to be concentrated in this main area, in the main cities. It's a factory of pipes, I think, or whatever they're doing here. Doesn't even matter. Yeah, probably most of the population is going to live in this area, and hopefully they're going to do a bit better here than that $1,000 per year. But yeah, the road looks pretty good, I have to say. When you check this one, so that's a good plus. Let's check this one again. I don't have that border, which bothers me a lot because I cannot see exactly where they start and where it ends. Yeah, that's a new construction. The same line, the same color of the rooftop that we saw in this region. Yeah, pretty much. If the population, the country is doing so poor, and they're doing, it doesn't. When you see that $1,000 per year, like I say, don't even have to see much. I don't understand when the people just choose to multiply themselves at pretty much to infinite. Just in the next 25 years, they project a 50% increase in population. I mean, you have to understand that's gonna mean just poverty for you. There is no way they're gonna actually, even the government, it doesn't matter how good it is, they cannot manage that. There is no way you can manage a 50% increase in population in 25 years with such a bad economy. And in a mountain area, and pretty much in a mountain country. At some point, like I say, you can even blame the government for some of those things, but it is what it is, I guess. Let's check this road. The road actually looks pretty good, I have to say. Maybe they don't have that many roads, and with some big, okay, this region, it doesn't look that well here. When they don't have that many cars, I would say, probably, I have no idea. Hopefully we are still in the country here. I'm not going outside the border. But it's a mountain country. I mean, look at this. It is very nice. I mean, for the tourist area, probably you're gonna make a killing here, but I don't see that. I mean, if you have a good tourist industry, there is no way you're gonna have that few money left. There is no way. This is not how it works. When you're living this region in mountain countries, it has to look great, and it does. Look at this. Like I say, I prefer a dirt road like this one than have a really bad one with a tarmac one. So kudos for that. But where are the border again? Here. Mountains countries usually don't do well in economics, especially if you start with a very poor one, and also, and oh, that's nice. It's poorly management, and the population for whatever reason is still going insanely up. That would be an interesting thing to just keep an eye on those countries, very poor countries with an increasing population. I project that they're not gonna do well at all in the future, but we're gonna see how actually it's gonna do. The land is pretty nice, so if somebody is interesting on the land, it's pretty nice. But again, that corruption index, which is huge, there is no way you're gonna do actually well there. I like the houses here. It's pretty much spread out, so you can have some room for yourself. But probably they have one of those fences, which is insane in those regions. The mountain country don't need fences here, I would say. It looks much worse and it's gonna cost a lot of money. This one, it doesn't work. Yeah, it's working, but slowly. Oh, look at how much big the river is there. Yeah, look at it. The housing doesn't look that well at the end. Um, at least they're a bit spread out, so not jammed together. At least they have that. But look at the region is pretty nice. I mean, just having this view when you go in or wake up in the morning, it is pretty nice. And you know, just to have a bad day, just go over there and just climb some mountains. I think this is the river, which is a huge one. Look at this. It's absolutely huge. If that something goes bad here, I guess just overflow or something like that, just pretty much all that village is gone. Again, a nice white car, an expensive one. It looks like a new one. Look at this, how big this is. Probably from the tourism area, you can have a killer here. Absolutely a killer. It just looks amazing, but you need way too much than just amazing landscape to just make it work as a tourist country. And with that corruption level, I mean, I would be terrified even just put step in this country. Probably gonna ask you money at every corner. You're gonna find something wrong, like I say, go there, travel with by car or something like that. Oh, they're gonna find something wrong and just gonna fine you as much as possible. Yeah, I will not go here. Again, one of those ex-Soviet countries. Look at this, look at the architecture, extremely bad. So bad, so Russian, so Soviet Union, Soviet Union architecture. But look at the landscape; it's just breathtaking. That's what I'm saying. Probably, I have no idea how they are actually gonna do. Where exactly again the border fucks me up when I don't see the border, but it is what it is. Where is the border? I'm not sure. We're going down, we're going up. What is going on here? Let's check this one. Hopefully we are still in the country. Tajikistan. That's maybe gonna be a inside the borders. Yeah, landscape pretty good. People not so well, and that increasing population is not gonna do well. A good business here probably is gonna be in the tourist area. You're gonna do very well. Hopefully with less again there. Hopefully with less corruption. Otherwise you're gonna have other problems. Yeah, if you want to start a business here, I would say that's gonna be a pretty good one because it looks great, but I'm not sure how well you're gonna convince people to come here, but they're doing pretty nice. It is a nice place to visit, I would say. But that's the problem with those places. We just that corruption level, that poverty, always gonna find you back. Yeah, it doesn't even work here. Okay, it's working now, but not that well. Look at the water. It's just crystal clear. No garbage whatsoever in those regions. So clearly very clean, very pristine. That's a nice place to visit. The problem is the country. The land is nice. The country is the problem. And I'm not sure how I can fix that. But the land, it is great, I have to say. It's probably now the best in the region. That and Kyrgyzstan, I think, what I call it, was a great place to just visit. This one, it looks great for visiting, but I'm not sure how easy it's gonna be to actually visit, get it in this country. Living here, yeah, probably if you live outside the cities and you live in those nice beautiful mountains and somehow you manage to attract some tourism and you have a small business of your own and you don't have interference from the government and all that stuff and no corruption, let's say, involved in your business, probably you're gonna do pretty decent. You're gonna have a decent life here, but otherwise I'm not sure. I don't see it. And again, probably it's going to be the same story, like a lot of people going outside the country to work, then make some money, came in the country and spend it. That looks like an expensive door fence, whatever that is. So yeah, clearly some people doing well, as we saw in every single other countries, but others just pure poverty. Hopefully I am still in the country. I didn't fucked up the border. Yeah, pretty much a mountain country. That looks great. This one, look at this, very close to the border. In the mountains, absolutely great. There is no bad thing that you can say, except how people actually live there. Oh, look at this. This is from Poland. See, if you manage somehow to attract some tourists, pretty much on the internet, I would say, and upload a lot of photos, make some nice place to just can sleep and eat, and you somehow manage to attract tourists. But not that many, because I guess if you attract too many, you're gonna get attention from the government, and with that corruption, probably you're not gonna do that well. You might have some decent place to live, decent lifestyle there, but you have to be outside in a country. There is no way you're gonna do something like that in a city. This is my opinion. This is 100% tourist. This is look like an Irish guy to me. And those guys just make pictures here. Yeah, it looks great. Mountains. Probably if you make it cheap enough to just come in here at least once a year just to relax, that would be a great idea. But I don't know. It's pretty much a mountain country. As you can see, they have some flatlands, I guess, here. I'm not sure if, hopefully we are still in the border. Yeah, landscape wise, it's pretty much great. This is pretty much poverty. I don't see them, like I say, doing well in the future. If they have a population that decreasing, let's say they are now at 10 million, and instead going up 50%, they're going down 50%. Probably they're gonna did much better. Look at this, how big those buildings are here. Probably they're gonna did much in those three guys. They're gonna did much better, but I don't think so. With where they think such a small, I mean, amazing. They have such a small economy, but they still manage somehow to have those cities, which is insane. Clearly they are from the Soviet era, those buildings, 100%. They don't look that well. Here you can see, when people live in urban area, look at this, the garbage, and how was in the mountains. So clearly stay away from the cities as much as you can. It's not a pretty place to be. If you want to visit cities, there's just one place for that. They call it Europe, and that's it. Yeah, here Tajikistan, ex-Soviet country, a mountain country. Stay away from the cities, with the Mercedes, and in the mountains you're gonna do pretty with expensive cars. You're gonna do pretty well, and I would say from the government, stop exporting your cheap labor. It's not gonna save you. I think the way they thinking, not just this the government, pretty much all of those in the poor countries, they say we can export our cheap labor to other countries. They're gonna use it, and those people are gonna bring the money home. They're gonna invest in whatever they cars, probably the cars they get them from where they choose to work from that country. But they're gonna spend money on housing mainly, and let's say other activities that they choose to do back home, purchasing stuff, and that is gonna grow the economy. But it's gonna be a slow growth, and yeah, you just pretty much export your cheap labor. And most of the people, the people are stupid. I see that in my country. The people are stupid enough to just come back in their country where they left, build a house. That's an expensive. That's a luxury. That's a huge. It's a Lexus, LX 470. That's extremely expensive car. People, they choose to go back in their countries, build a house that they are never gonna leave, because they have to go back to work in the countries that they actually make some money. And those houses that they put a lot of money in them, they're gonna stay empty. And that, in my opinion, it's a huge waste of money. That's an expensive car right here. Look at this, a Kia. I mean, like, it's a South Korean license. Yeah, it's a South Korean license plate. So somebody came from the South Korea, or just work in South Korea and just decide, okay, we're gonna bring the car on the wheels from there. In Europe, probably it's gonna be easier to travel across that European Union countries, but I don't know. In Asia, is that easy to just take a car from the other part of the continent and just drive it home? That would be interesting. Yeah, so this nonsense with working outside the countries and have no idea where the border is. That's why I'm still going zoom out. and then coming back in a country and say, you know what, I'm gonna build a house that I always wanted, and it's gonna be better than any of my neighbors, and but I'm gonna live there probably like once, maybe let's say twice a year, because I have to go back to work in the country that I already work, and living there in not such a great conditions. But I have a great home back home, which I'm never gonna visit, or very rarely gonna stay in it. For me, that's nonsense, and probably that money is gonna be better spent another way. But hey, maybe it's just me. Where is the border, for God's sake? Hopefully we are still in the border. Yeah, I think we kind of saw everything we need to saw here. Just, yeah, countryside, absolutely amazing. In a town, in a cities, you can see pretty much horrible. I have no idea what they say here. Oh, they have some cows there. Look at this, how happy it does look. Expensive car again, expensive car. The road here, not that well, but also not that bad either. Landscape, come on, look at this. Look at this, how huge mountains in the background. How great it looks. This is a place when you actually want to live, but not in a country. I say, not in this country, you just want the landscape from this country, that's it. You don't want the economy, you don't want the people, you don't want anything of that. You just want the landscape, which is pretty dangerous thing, I would say. When people like your landscape but doesn't like anything else, that it's a room from invasion, in my opinion. But we're gonna see how they play for them. Now, like I said, landscape wise, this is amazing. This is like, I manage, like I say, I make Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan one of the best to actually travel there to see, but the problem is that corruption index and all that came with that. So that's my advice, to not go there, I would say. But landscape there, man, that's amazing. Landscape wise, it's just way too good, way too good. Especially like we saw in that those regions when you have that those. It's not a great one, but you have that line, skyline. Let's call that skyline of mountains. Way better than buildings and skyscrapers and whatever they try to build. Yeah, here there is some garbage, which I don't like it. And it's already from those people. Hey, they have some cows here. Probably they eat a lot of meat. Who knows? Yeah, it looks pretty good. I have to say, looks pretty good. Landscape wise, bang on the money. I mean, look at this. Ooh, we have a road here. Looks pretty decent. But yeah, it's so small economy. It's just, there is no way you can actually start doing something better here in your lifetime. Keep in mind of that, in your lifetime, because that's pretty much what should interest you. It's in your lifetime. Hopefully I'm not outside the border there. Probably I am, so you don't count that. Yeah, pretty good. I have to say, pretty good. Pretty good. Again here, what the fuck? Let me check this one. But again, it's hard to just look at this. It looks so kitsch to me, those buildings and how many advertisements they have. But then you have the mountains, which is amazing. Yeah, that's why it's so hard to recommend visiting those countries, because it's so much unknown. And even here, if you live in Europe or in a Western world, in a rich part of the countries, share of the countries, you still have some limited budget, and you have to spend it wisely and choose wisely when you want to visit, what you want to visit. So yeah, that's why it's so hard to recommend those countries. And what the fuck, it's convection. And this one was like I say, from those ex-Soviet Union countries. And what we see here with the mountains and everything, probably you're gonna see equal, if not better, when you're gonna check Nepal and Bhutan. And that probably is gonna be a deal breaker for those ex-Soviet countries in this region to visit, which probably that's why they're still pretty poor. Now, next one is gonna be Afghanistan, when we're gonna finish the region pretty much. So today I have make another 2 videos. I'm gonna post it in the second part of the day. It's gonna be Afghanistan and North Korea, so we can actually finish. Let me check. Finish this part of the world. So yeah, we're gonna have those 2, and this Afghanistan is gonna be next, and we finish that part of the world, and then I have to make North Korea because I want to finish this part, and then we're gonna move south. So yeah, pretty good, I would say. We stay on the map. Yeah, we see a lot so far. So yeah, that was the video. If I give them a note to Tajikistan, score, landscape is great, but I can't just judge a landscape. The fact the population is going up by 50% in the next 25 years, the corruption pretty much the highest, almost in the tier of the highest corruption in the world. Economic pretty much non-existent on the world map. I have to give them a 4. I mean, just the only thing that they save them is that great landscape. Anything else, not even close, I would say. So yeah, that was the video. See you in the next one in Afghanistan.